The online education space is unfortunately full of people who don't care if their students learn anything. They only care if they buy from them. So I built my education business differently. I optimized it for student results, not revenue. And that got us to 97% completion rate. And 70% of students came through word of mouth because when the students actually get results, they tell everyone. And that's how you can have less than 3% marketing budget. So yeah, if you really like teaching and care about your students, in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 things that you need in order to build an education business that's profitable, stable, and actually get students results. And these 3 things are proof, the program design, and promotion. So let's jump in. All right, let's talk about the thing that most people completely ignore when starting education business, which is proof. What you need to know about this kind of business is that it's a proof business. And here's what I mean. Every business has a hard part. For example, if you go into apparel, clothes, the hard part is marketing, like standing out in a sea of t-shirts and hoodies. On the other hand, if you're running a restaurant, the hard part is operations, consistency, managing staff, keeping quality of food and service high, and so on. Well, education is different. Education is what I call a proof business. The hardest part isn't building the curriculum, and it's not the marketing funnel either. It's actually answering one question, which is why should anyone learn from you? And this is the most overlooked thing in education, and people just skip right past that. They see someone making money, teaching something, and they think, oh, I know this topic too. I'll just make a course as well. But here's what happens. Without a unique proof, you're just another person on the internet telling people what to do. And then you have to outspend everyone on ads. And then you can't charge premium prices. And then you're suddenly competing on price, not value, and you're stuck in a race to the bottom. So what is proof? Well, it's not credentials or degrees or certifications, even though they might be part of that. What proof is your specific story. The thing that makes people say, oh, you are the right, or you're the only person who could teach me this. So for me, when I started the MBA, which is a business school for designers, the proof was pretty straightforward. I graduated from a business school, and I also worked at one of the world's best design agencies. And that was a pretty rare combination. So when I said, hey, I'm teaching business to designers, it clicked. And I wasn't competing with all business teachers, and I wasn't competing with design teachers either. I was basically the only person in this intersection, and I had the perfect credentials. So that is the unique proof. It's not that you're the best teacher, it's that you're the only person with your specific background teaching this specific thing. Now, here's how you can find your proof. Fill in the blank of this statement. I'm the person who, da-da-da-da-da, so I teach, da-da-da-da-da. So for me, I'm a designer who graduated from a business school and worked at a top design agency, so I teach business to designers. If your sentence is generic, your proof isn't strong enough. You need to find the intersection, like the weird combination of things that you've done that nobody else has. That is your proof. And without it, nothing else works. You can have the best curriculum in the world. It doesn't matter if people don't trust you teaching it. So that's the proof. Now let's talk about a thing that actually transforms students, which is program. But here's the common misconception. Most people think that education is about selling knowledge or selling information. So they record 20 videos, put them in an online portal, and call it a course. And then they wonder why completion rates are 3%. So here's what's actually happening. Information doesn't transform people. If it did, we'd all have six packs because we have all read the articles, we watch the videos, we kind of know what to do. The problem is we don't do it because knowing isn't the same as doing. And your job as an educator, if you actually care about the results of your students, is to create a journey where people actually do the thing, actually achieve the transformation, not just learn about the thing. So what does that actually take? 3 things. First is curriculum. So yes, you need good information, clear frameworks, well-structured content. But that's table stakes. That's not what this business is about. This is just the table stakes, just like the hygiene factor. And that's just 1/3 of what you need. Second, you need social presence. And this is the part that most people skip. Students need to feel seen and they need accountability. They need to know that someone actually cares if they don't show up. And there's actually research on this. There's a famous paper with over 20,000 citations talking about exactly this phenomenon. We humans want to be seen. We need to know that someone will notice if we don't show up. And without that, motivation dies. And that's why at DMBA we run cohorts. They have clear deadlines. We check in when students fall behind and they go through the program in a group. And there's instructors who notice if somebody is gone. That is social presence. Which brings us to the third point, which is deliberate practice. You don't get better by consuming information. You get better by practicing with feedback. And there's a lot of research on this too. Erickson's work on expertise in deliberate practice has thousands of citations. So in our programs, students don't just watch videos about business strategy. They make actual business decisions. They also get feedback, they revise it, and then they do it again. So that is deliberate practice. Okay, so you have a proof and you have a program that works. Now, how do people actually find out about it? Let's talk about promotion. This is what everyone wants to talk about. Funnels, webinars, the latest tactics. And look, distribution matters a lot. But here's the fundamental question for you. Are you a teacher or are you a marketer? Because if you're a teacher at heart, and frankly, this is who this video is for, there's only one approach that works long term, which is teach as your marketing. Don't try to become a growth hacker. Don't chase the latest trends. Just teach what you know. Give away your best information because that's how you build trust. And trust is what converts. Now, most people tell you to do short form content, Instagram posts, LinkedIn carousels, reels, ads. And look, if you're a marketer, that might work for you, that probably will work for you. But if you're a teacher, you're going to burn out because the short form has two problems. First, the shelf life is just hours, maybe days. So you post something, it gets seen once, and then it's just gone. So you have to keep creating, keep posting every single day. And that is extremely exhausting, especially if it isn't your zone of genius. Second problem is that short form interrupts people. Yes, it does get their attention, but it doesn't let you actually teach because you can't explain a concept in 15 seconds. So you can't build real trust that way. So what works for teachers is long form content, YouTube videos, podcasts, long essays or guides. And the reason for this is, again, two reasons. First, the shelf life is years. So a YouTube video I made 3 years ago is still bringing in students to the MBA today. A podcast episode can be discovered months or years after you recorded it. Compare that to an Instagram post that dies in just 12 hours. So long form compounds, short form doesn't. Second reason is that long form lets you actually teach. So when someone watches a 20-minute video, you can explain the concept properly. You can give examples, answer questions, show your thinking. And that's what builds real trust. Now, within the long form, video is the best because it engages 3 senses. So people can see you, they can hear you, and they can also read text on the screen. But even a long form article or podcast work, you just might need more time to build the trust. So the key is to go long form, and the strategy is to pick one long form channel, such as YouTube, newsletter, or podcast, and then give away your best knowledge and teach what you know. And do it consistently. Build trust over time. For me, I started with a 40-page guide for designers. I posted it online, and all of a sudden, 1,000 people subscribed to my email list. And that kind of kicked off the whole business. No ads, no funnel, just teaching. And if you do this and you have proof and you have a program that works, people will find you because students will tell other students. And that's how you get 70% word of mouth. And that's how you build something stable. All right, the 3 P's of building an education business that's profitable, stable, and actually gets students real results is proof, which is a combination of your unique story and the intersection that nobody owns. Second is program, which is not just giving students information, but also integrating this into social presence and deliberate practice. And third is promotion, where we focus on long-form content and we teach as our marketing to build trust over time. And if you do those three things, students will do marketing for you. Now, if you want to go deeper in the program bucket, I made a video sharing my view on how the educational program should be designed based on scientific research and latest technological trends, which also includes AI. So check it out here and see you in the next one.